On this lesson, we're gonna animate our heart. So first you can see here that we have our layer right here. And if you have previously used the software, you really probably know how to do it. But if you don't know, please have a little patience because I'm going to explain this for people that doesn't understand After Effects. So here you have our layer just as you did on any other Adobe software. And right now what we're going to animate our heart is going to be the scale, because we want to have this heart kind of beating. So to do that, we're going to click here on our layer and then we're going to press the S key on our keyboard. And this is going to bring our scale. And right now here I have our scale. Also, if you don't want to press a shortcut, you could open right here, or you have your different transform options. But I would recommend you that if you are new, just stick to press S and you only have that property that you want to animate. And scale, you can see here that it's linked, and that means that if you click and drag this number, it's going to scale proportionally. If you link these two values, then you're only going to change one value, but that's not really looking nice. So we're gonna keep that lock. Then we're gonna go to our layer 0, that is right here. And what this is little timeline is representing is time. So here you are in the zero time or zero frame, sorry. And then if you move around, you're going to go to the, for example, the 50 frame of your composition. So as I said, if you go to 30, you are in 1 second because it's 30 frames per second. So you're going to go here, and you can see here that right next to a scale, you have a little stopwatch. And if you click on that, you're going to begin to animate. So let's click on that one right there. Then let's move around. Let's go with 20. And let's change the number that we have here to, let's go to 40. Something smaller. So you can see how that has changed. And now if I go back to the beginning, you can see how it's going from 100 to 40. And if you click the spacebar, you can have a little preview. And of course it's going to keep going right here because we actually established that we want our timeline to go to until 140. We're gonna go around, let's go around 40 frames, and we're gonna press N on our keyboard, and that way you can see that this little work area has been reduced to 40. Even when we still have the rest of the keyframes, sorry, of the frames, we don't need them. We are no longer going to be seeing them on the preview. So if I click again, you can see how I go there, and once it hits 40, it goes back again and plays this. And this is because of my playback settings. Probably yours are a little bit different. So you can go here to Window and have Preview or Control-3. And once you do that, a window like this is going to appear. Sometimes it's around here depending on your After Effects version. And in here you can see how I have my current, play from my current time. And I have the same frame rate as the other one, and that is just the same, just that it came. And I said if on spacebar stop, so that's okay. And you can select here if you want to have a loop, for example right here, or if you don't click that, you can see that once I go here, it's no longer looping, it just stops and it's right there. I like my comps to loop because it gives me an idea of how my animations could look. So for now, I'm gonna leave it looping. But if yours was not looping, you know now why. So one thing that creates a good loop is that you can see that when it goes to the end, it kind of pops back to be from 40 to 100 in just 1 second. And that's not something that we want. So we're gonna go here to frame 30. And let's go back to 100. So just click here, enter, and you can see how automatically you have a new keyframe. So now if I press the spacebar, you can see how the loop, now the heart is beating and it's looping because remember my previous settings were like that. Now this is nice, but to me it looks like a little robotic animation because it doesn't have like any smooth movement. And you could select all your keyframes by just clicking and dragging, and then go right click and then you're going to have a keyframe assistance, and you could go with easy ease, or you could use the shortcut that is F9. Now I'm going to preview this again, and you can see how now it is moving a little bit better, because what this is doing is that this is beginning with a going to 100 to then going to something slow, so not changing the value like all of a sudden, and then again here slowing a little bit and then going a little bit up. And if you want to see this more graphically, you can select this scale and then click here where this graph is, and when you do that, it's telling you to include this property on the graph editor set. So what this means is that now I can see it on my graph editor. And to access the graph editor, you can go here to graph editor, is this little point, and you can see how this is doing. You can see how this is going to go slow and then up. So you can change this as you would do with any curve in Illustrator. So if you know that software, you could do something like this, something maybe like this. And also, for example, if you change this one, let's say that you go like that, you can see how it changed the way this is animating. So again, depends on your project, what do you want to do, but learning to move these handles around and understanding what they are doing. For example, if I make a peak right there, you can see how it's going to be like super strong, and that's not really something that we want. So we're gonna actually go back to make this one a little bit smooth, and let's do the same for this other part of the curve. So now it should be more even, something like this. I think this is looking better. So with these really simple steps, and you can click again on the graph editor to go back to your frames, you can see how you have a looping animation that works fine. And right now it's really not looping, and you could do that later, but this is really how simple you can bring that heart from Illustrator and give it some life with After Effects. So in the next lesson, we're going to keep working on the rest of the icons.